We're back here on this Mother Earth Day, April the 22nd, on the Morning Brew, and we're continuing to spend time with our friends at the Ministry of Planning and Development and its sister agencies. We just spoke with one sister agency, the Institute of Marine Affairs. We're going to chat with another now, the Environmental Management Authority, and with us our Senior Environmental Education Officer, Marcia Tinto, and Environmental Education Officer, Alisa Gomez. Ladies, good morning and happy Mother Earth Day to you.
Good morning and same to you. Happy Mother Earth Day, everyone. Happy Earth Day.
Good morning.
When people think of the EMA, the first thing they think of is you'll need to measure the noise that we get at carnival time. Or this person is polluting this area and affecting the quality of water over there. Or there's been a major oil spill somewhere else. You know, when things like that happen, they immediately think EMA, but the EMA is so much more than that, isn't it, Marcia Tinto?
Definitely is, and there's so many good news stories and accomplishments that we have achieved over the years, and particularly during this time of COVID, where we have so many restrictions, we're working remotely. And instead of being able to go out, we're now having presentations and lectures and so on Zoom. So perhaps I could ask Alisa how she feels about that and what she has been through and her experience.
Alisa?
Well, it has been a new challenge, certainly. It's not as interactive as it used to be when you were face-to-face with a group, but it's allowing us to kind of stretch our muscles in terms of what we can do. So we are embracing it fully in terms of this new digital virtual platform and reaching new and wider audiences as well, because we can get to more people this way.
When you do outreach with citizens, you know, do they tell you that they feel helpless when they start to hear about the environmental challenges that we're facing as a country and as a planet? Do they feel helpless, or, you know, what's the reaction you get?
Okay, many of them may say that, but when we communicate to them the work that is being done, the visibility of the work that we're conducting. So, for example, there are a few things I'd like to mention this morning. This is the first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago that a baseline ecological risk assessment was undertaken, and this was for the Gulf of Paria from Point Pier to Icarcus. And it was basically to look at the risk of contaminants or contamination on the ecological organisms and receptors, so any kind of life in that water. And it was a very extensive project, and at the end is really to make recommendations to see how we could remediate, how we can engage with or encourage remedial action to actually have the Gulf of Paria, that stretch particularly, in a better condition for human life and you know, the natural environment. Another project, another milestone project that we, well, as you know, we would have revised the water pollution rules. So it's the Water Pollution Rules 2019. And right now they're doing a water quality improvement plan. There are two pilot projects that were undertaken of watersheds. So it's a watershed plan, because as you know, watersheds are very important because those are the areas from which water is drained into rivers and streams and into the ocean. So the quality has to be at a particular standard. So we're really looking at these watersheds, one in Tobago, Colan watershed, and the Arima watershed. And we had an extensive, again, one of the main objectives of the EMA is to collaborate, to work in partnership with. So we had an extensive group of representation from the private sector, from government agencies, from civil society organizations who came together. We were supported by the THA, of course, the Water Resources Institute and the Institute of Marine Affairs. So this is a project that's ongoing to improve the quality of ambient water, which is open for rivers and so on, that kind of water in Trinidad and Tobago. We will also probably talk a little bit, but I would like to pass it to Alisa a little bit to talk about the national environmental policy, which is very, very important.
Alisa.
So talk about the process, because we revised the policy a couple of years ago, so it's now the National Environmental Policy 2018.
All right, Alisa, could you give us some key highlights from the National Environmental Policy?
Well, it was revised recently, as Marcia mentioned, and coming out of that are some critical areas that are the focus, and the EMA has been working towards making this policy document more accessible to the nation, because we want it to be more than just a document that just stays and it doesn't apply. So it's really to get it accessible. So we are working right now to get it out into the wider public in terms of them seeing the usefulness of it. And when we had a national literacy survey a few years ago, we realized as well that there is some additional work to be done in terms of making that document more accessible to the public. So that is something that is ongoing within the EMA.
So basically, you're going to break it down into a language that everyone can understand, even the smallest child, so that they could do their part to protect our environment.
And I just wanted to underscore that although we are mandating the EMA, that is, to revise the National Environmental Policy, it is the Trinidad and Tobago Environmental Policy, as the word suggests, national. So it's not the EMA policy. And what we have done, we don't want it to be a document sitting on this shelf. We want it to be a document that is active, that is live, so that all stakeholders and anyone engaged, because we have 6 priority areas that address environmental and human health through pollution control, evolving green technologies, looking at climate change, which I know you talked about, and environmental and natural disasters, sustaining our natural resources, and a couple others. So we are going to continue with workshops addressing our key stakeholders, because we want them to use this policy to develop their strategic plans, as well as to really use it or apply it in the operations of their programs and projects and so on. So it's a work in progress, and I'd just like to say it was also based on the Sustainable Development Goals, Trinidad and Tobago's strategic plan, the Vision 2020, 2016 to 2030, as well as Tobago's development goals. So it's very comprehensive.
Alisa, the EMA is observing its 25th anniversary. Well, it would have been 25 years old last year, but 25 people are going to be specially honored with Green Leaf Awards for this year's observance of Mother Earth Day, aren't they?
Well, actually, there's a list of 25 people throughout Trinidad and Tobago who will be recognized for their work, because there's so many people who are involved. And when we went out last year for nominations for Greenleaf Awards, everyone was distracted because of COVID. So there was some difficulty with getting people to nominate worthwhile projects. So we have some Greenleaf Award and Merit Award winners, because those who did not quite qualify for a Greenleaf Award, there were some projects that still needed to be recognized, and they will be recognized with a Merit Award. But we also wanted to recognize individuals who had done outstanding work throughout the years. And when we first went out for nominations, no one was nominated in that category, the special category that recognized people who have been involved in environmental work for over 25 years, or at least 25 years. So we went back out for nominations, and we only got 6 nominations at that point in time. So we do have some individuals that will be recognized in the special category of the Greenleaf Awards. But we also have what can be called maybe our MD's list of 25 persons who were not nominated, but their work should not go unrecognized as the EMA celebrates its 25th anniversary. So there's a lot happening in terms of our Greenleaf Awards prize giving ceremony, which takes place tonight. It's happening tonight, and we really inviting the public to tune in. It's an entirely virtual event, and
right.
it will be taking place at 8 p.m.
Okay, if you want to get more information, go to ema.co.ke. On this Mother's Day, let's find out what it is right now. It's going to be very